Hello everybody, it's Friday night and it is Weekender time once again. And on this week's show I'm joined by Free, Justin and Warren to take a look at some of the news that's caught our eye from across the industry. Also, there seem to be a ton of people giving away free games, so check those ones out in the news stories. On top of all of that, one lucky subscriber will get a chance to win a copy of The Last One Alive from Ares Games, a zombie dice rolling game, courtesy of the UK Games Expo. To be in with a chance to win, you just need to pop a comment below, and if you can also give us a thumbs up and share us around on the socials, that really helps out also. So sit back and relax, because your weekend starts here. Hello folks and welcome to another show. Look at my abundance he is around me. Little minions to do my bidding and tell me what's going on in the world, or will they just stare at me while I tell people what's going on in the world? Time will tell. Could go either way. After last week's astounding success of Star Wars Week, we're back on track for a regular weekender this week. So that'll, level people out.
Wait.
Yes.
Maybe not so regular.
Ooh.
I have an announcement to make.
Ooh.
Right.
Makes me nervous because we know nothing about this.
Dude, I've got to fill you in on this. All right, I've been bursting all week to tell you, and this is the first opportunity I get. So forget the fact there's a show on. I've just been dying to tell you.
Okay, stress level.
Have
stress
you
level,
ever
stress
heard
level,
of
stress level? Stress level.
Have you ever heard of Göbekli Tepe?
Oh, Göbekli Tepe. Yeah.
Yes, right. Okay, there's some major developments happening. Okay,
What, did they find the aliens?
What do you?
Don't tell me I've called it.
Right. So, Göbekli Tepe or Göbekli Tepe or Tepe Te or whatever that is, right, is a civilization that was discovered in Turkey, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, but this civilization is possibly older than 13,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So twice the age of the pyramids.
Yep.
All right. We were supposed to be just running around in bear skins going ook, 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 back then. Okay.
Uh-huh.
There was supposedly no agriculture, nothing to support a civilization, but they've discovered this these Neolithic monuments and this construction with intricate carvings and everything. Okay. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up for Justin is because you'll love this because they were obsessed with willies by the sounds of it.
Oh, Warren, I do find it kind of funny. You're kind of the one who has the obsession here because you're the one who always brings it up. Are you okay?
No.
Sorry, buddy, but I'm just calling it.
I'm more than okay. I'm ecstatic because I get to tell you all about it. So they were obsessed.
Oh, you're doing the alien guy movement face and everything. What's his name? You're just going like this. You're talking about alien.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So these monuments, Justin, right? Many of them are phallic shaped. Okay,
and like that, you've lost me.
Okay, so they're wrong with a bit of a bulbous head. Okay,
right.
They're not mushrooms, but they're not far off. Okay, so the other thing then is right. Whenever they're carving that, but they also have ones that they've animals and all sorts of creatures carved over this. Nobody was supposed to be able to do this back then. This is Stone Age, right?
I mean,
So
I'm sure
this is-
even in that age, there were geeks. Just saying.
This is beyond geeks because this has been stretching. They have found more and more of this civilization stretching out across the Turkey, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, right, one I have evidence for, the other I don't have any evidence for it, but it is probably scientific fact, okay?
Did you hear from some dude on YouTube?
Yes, actually, for the second one. But for the first one, they also have statues that are of people, right?
Yeah.
And the fingers kind of wrap around. And every statue that they have,
Uh-huh.
I mean, every statue that they have, they are protecting their willies.
I mean,
Protecting
what?
their manhood.
Do they think I'm going to invent time travel and go back with the chisel?
This is where I'm headed, man. This is where I'm headed.
Obvious,
I reckon there's a counter civilization, right? So I reckon there's the civilization that myself and Jerry are descended from. Okay, the big hairy men that are quite happy to be running around flapping in the wind. Okay, and then I think that there's a counter civilization of which you are descended from that were running around with their stone shears ready to do some clipping. And then to kind of commemorate it all, we carved these statues, and everything is always very protective of that particular component, you might say. Do you want to know the really interesting thing?
You're lying.
They buried it. They buried it all. So it wasn't that it was naturally covered over. Whenever the archaeologists find it.
That's an English word, yes.
Archaeologists. Whenever the archaeologists found it all, okay, and they started to excavate it all, right? They realized, hang on a second, this hasn't been naturally covered through time and eon.
It's been buried.
It was buried.
Dun, dun, dun.
They buried it to protect it, or maybe for some other reasons.
I mean,
but
sometimes people don't like art, and it's just like out of sight, out of mind.
You think the aliens are coming this year, don't you, Warren? You think the aliens are on the right?
2022 is the year of the aliens. They're already here, Frank. They're already here.
You're talking about the lizard people. Is this what you're
the lizard folk are something slightly different. They're interdimensional beings, apparently, that can phase in and out and shapeshift. Now, here's the thing about shapeshifting, right? We think shapeshifting is weird, but mimicry is actually a big part of Mother Nature and how some species have evolved. Like, for example, you take an octopus that can mimic being a rock, or you take some of them lizards that can change their colors and stuff like that. Heck, even Justin can kind of blend in and look like a proto-human being at times when he gets enough of them vodka and Red Bulls or whatever into him that he drinks.
I try.
Yeah. So mimicry is a big part of it. So why would we be surprised if there were a species that were just incredibly good at it?
Like caterpillars doing a conga line.
Exactly.
I'd pay to see that.
You can. There's a type of caterpillar that does it to mimic being a snake so they don't get attacked by birds. So they all travel like sand people in single file to hide their numbers.
That's lovely. But do they do the cha-cha-cha-cha-cha?
I imagine they do.
Suddenly
nobody's marked them up. Yeah.
Anyway, Justin, you know, man, like it's been too long since I've brought you the news. And, I just couldn't sit on it any longer. I had to tell you, to bring it back for anybody that's in the show and is badly disappointed it's not wargaming related. It will be. We will find a way to have these Neolithic Willy Defenders and Willy Choppers created on the tabletop with our Gobleckly Clappy Tetley gaming tables. And
who knows? There might be some statues out there on 3D printing. They might exist somewhere, Warren.
Yes. If you guys want to create that in 3D, I will get Justin to basically lead the charge on that, and he can be on your website going,
I'm gonna say
I love these. Clip. No?
I'm just no.
Oh, come on, Justin. You could be like
Warren, look,
celebrity.
On, this is your love that I don't know. You just don't seem to be able to admit it.
Dude.
So sorry, buddy, but it's all you.
Dude, I love this through you.
So you're projecting onto me. Okay.
I clean up after myself, Justin, so don't worry. I won't project too hard. All right?
Again, it's on you.
Come on, man. You love it. You love it. This is
really
interesting historical accuracy.
No, it's not. We know it's not. Come on. Sorry,
Yes,
buddy.
it is.
No, well, to you, but you go and enjoy. You do you.
Right. The second thing then that I found from some guy on YouTube, I've no scientific evidence for it, but it is super interesting.
Go on.
They maybe had 6 fingers as standard.
Maybe. That's a shot in the dark there, Warren.
Apparently, no, this was on the Wall Street Journal or something. I read this. That they had
must be
6
true.
fingers as standard. They had 6 fingers as standard. Okay, Wall Street Journal or Spectator, or one of them places, right? 6 fingers as standard. Okay.
In total?
I went hunting and I couldn't find it. I counted all of the appendages on each of them statues, and I was counting 5, 10 every time. So there must be something somewhere where this 6-finger thing came from. But if it did come, if it is true, if we can find the evidence for it, then that ties us directly into the Nephilim. That's starting to get back to the Methuselah and going way, way back. This is where it gets really interesting. This is all pre-flood. These are the people that God wanted to get rid of. So hide the willies! It's annoying God! He's going to send a flood! Bury them all, quick!
It's as good as explanation as any at the moment.
Yeah.
I tell you, the Natural History Museum will be sending me letters going, this guy is
cease and desist.
He can connect the dots and all of this here. Don't even get me started on the aliens yet. I'll get all that tied in and it'll be brilliant.
It's all the same story for anything pre-Tudor, I suppose, isn't it?
Anybody wants to help Warren, they'll need a sealed room, a lot of tinfoil, and some red string.
Yes, I supply my own padded jackets and the like, so we will all be fine.
You'll be comfy.
You'll be warm. You'll be toasty, and we can work together on improving Justin's life one statue at a time.
Warren, simple. No,
you're no fun anymore. Pandemic must have just sucked all the love of the odd and the fascinating out of you. It's all right, Justin. I'll replace it. You make it my mission in life now to replace it for you and to get the love of all that is odd back into you.
No.
Shall we?
I think we'll move on, Jerry. I feel like I'm flogging a dead horse here.
Well, before we kick into the show proper, we have a little bit of an update. We are only 3 weeks out from this year's UK Games Expo.
Is that 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Oh, it's coming up soon.
So if you're interested in seeing us live, unredacted, and checking out whether or not we actually have legs, then you can visit us at we're going to have our little studio, a little mini studio just off the family zone.
Oh, fancy.
Yep. And we'll obviously have our roving reporters as well, so you can see us across the entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And come along, say hello, and you can possibly even win some exciting prizes, because we're going to be chucking things out at people throughout the weekend. Also to some people, if you can make it, big prizes, big money. We love it. If you can't, then you can follow along with what's going on at the expo through our live blogs and live stream throughout the 3 days as well. So just a little reminder, you've only a few weeks out. If you're planning on coming along, you need to probably start looking. If you haven't already looked at accommodation, it's probably time to start breaking out the tents.
Probably best. Yeah.
But most important part of the week, it's time for... You're getting much better. I like you drift away from the microphone these days. God bless you.
Yeah, it's comfortable now, isn't it? It's very, very comfortable. Oh.
See, what's happening is the lungs are now gradually improving. So it's I've been doing my breathing exercises and stuff like that there. So I'll be back into my full operatics.
Nice.
Very shortly. I got an amazing birthday present. I don't know if I mentioned it last week. No, I couldn't have because it was pre-birthday, wasn't it? So I got an amazing birthday present free. Guess what?
Was it? Go on. Star Wars? Was it Star Wars?
My wife bought me 2 tickets to see Iron Maiden.
Nice.
And guess who
That's
I'm
awesome.
taking?
Who take?
Hopefully your wife.
No, she won't go. I'm
Who's
taking
taking?
my little girl, Savannah.
Yay!
She agreed to go to Iron Maiden with me, baby. Yeah.
I'm seeing Iron Maiden this summer as well.
Oh, yeah.
First big
I
So
fan.
can't
I'll
wait.
compare notes with you.
Yeah, next month. Next month I get to see them in Bell Sonic,
Go.
and Savannah's able to go. I'm ordering up her first Iron Maiden T-shirt, and it's awesome. So Savannah's 11, so she's like, she's a year younger than I was whenever I first went to see Iron Maiden. Okay, and I said to Andrea, are you sure you won't go? Because I would love you to come and experience this with me. She says, no way. I said, okay, fair enough. Can I take Savannah? And she said, no, kids are not allowed. It's over 16s only. And I went, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure because I have been there before and I went on my own when I was 12. So I checked it up and yes, she can go. We have to sign in and all of that there, but she can go. So she's super excited. She's bouncing for this and listening to Iron Maiden on her little Google in her room and stuff. And I'm going, yeah. However, I have promised Andrea, I promised Andrea I would make it a great experience for Savannah. And then I made the mistake of just like mine. And then Andrea, no. I said, well, it's like I only had a 6-pack of beer whenever I went to see Iron Maiden at 12 years old. I will make sure Savannah has copious amounts of beer. No, she'll have no beer, but I will have a beer. I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm going to a concert with my little girl. She's just growing up too quick. So she is, but this is great. This is foundational stuff. This is me doing my bit to repair society and to make sure that decent music continues to live on through the future generation.
Next generation of rockers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I can't wait. I don't even know why I brought that up.
Who knows?
There's no aliens in it.
There are no aliens in it. Maybe it's because of the Indie of the Week.
Oh, yes, it was Indie of the Week. Yes, I'm going to be singing Iron Maiden at the top of my lungs, so I'm doing my breathing exercise.
That was it.
I'm doing my Brucey operatic stuff, so I highly recommend, if anybody is struggling with the after effects of COVID, okay, Iron Maiden, Hallowed Be Thy Name, is a particularly good practice song. Because he sings about hung low. Well, I don't actually know if he says hung low, but there's a big long breathy bit in it. So
wow,
Justin has got the hung low thing in my head here for some reason.
Tightly scripted as ever.
Oh,
we take a look at Elledan.
Where are we going?
Ooh.
What is Elledan? What have you picked for us this week, Jerry?
So this is a German company. They do a range of stuff from various manufacturers, but they also have their own little range in here as well. Obviously, the White Walkers being very White Walkery. But what I particularly like about Elledan is the Barbarians that they've started to stick together from a couple of different sculptors. And I think the first releases for this was just a couple of figures away last year, and since then they've added in some more characters sculpted by Kev and Boris, and then recently there's been a whole host of mounted troops coming to the fore on saber-toothed tigers.
So there's some Boris specials in here.
There's some Boris specials.
I'm glad you're clicking on the twins, man. They're the first ones I want to see.
Not as special as Boris usually does.
That is the two dudes from the movie Barbarians.
They are not alone when it comes. They're not alone when it comes to movie references and other things. But I absolutely love it's such a tiny little range of Barbarians for playing out your stuff in your tabletop. And when they're putting ranges together, they're generally stuff that they play or things that they want to see on the tabletop. So a lot of the store has a lot of Saga like bits and pieces that have been specifically grabbed from various companies to put together the Saga force that he wants to play. And when it came to getting his own range, likewise, here's what I want. I want to have proper old school Barbarians coming screaming out of the forestry at whoever's looking around the place. And to that end, it's...
They're artistic, I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
There's
some of Kev White's work as well.
See, Kev does that, though. He starts from a naked blank and then...
Yeah, it works his way up.
So that is actually the same miniature going through. It's different.
Yeah, he'll dress the dollies in various ways.
Yeah.
But I absolutely adore this range of barbarians because it's not something you see enough of on the tabletop. You had that whole, I suppose, Conan-esque.
Do that old geezer there. It looks like an old geezer to me. Oh, yes.
Rocking the mighty, mighty beard.
Strange pose.
He's really creeping along.
Unique. Yeah, I see.
Barbarians shouldn't do stealth.
No. Running, screaming.
Old barbarians do stealth. Because they're wise enough not to get killed.
Choice, really, don't they?
Yeah, I guess that's maybe how they got to be old barbarians.
Yep. You often hear the quick and the dead.
Are they all resins on this site, Jerry?
No, there's a mix of resin and metals. So,
bit of both.
If I throw up the rest of Boris's.
It's future.
Yeah, there's always a me somewhere.
There's always a Jerry Barbarian.
These are great.
I really like
these. These would be super for Hero Quest, wouldn't they?
Yeah, any dungeon crawler at all.
Now, are they multi-part or are they like single casts?
No, they'll be multi-part. Well, it depends on the figure.
Okay.
So that one will be multi-part. Hands and sword are separate from the rest, and then the base.
Yeah, the rock to leap from.
Yeah,
that's a.
Do you know what? Even just as collector's pieces, you know, this is the kind of site. Well, there are some the less armored ladies. I probably wouldn't buy a lot of them if I'm honest. You know, it's Andrea would probably buy them. She kind of likes that, but I wouldn't play them with my kids. But definitely them barbarians. But then you know it's but then barbarians are almost too good. You know for your board games. So like some of these are really, really nice kind of showcase pieces, aren't they?
Diorama pieces would look beautiful.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd nearly build a Frostgrave gang out of these guys, just like a full Frostgrave Barbarian gang.
So Jerry and Justin we've had so far.
Yeah, whenever I do a full shave.
It's always the way of things. But I mean, you get what you pay for, I think is the way things go. And there are beautiful sculpts. I know you mean that you can, and a lot of people do pick up Boris's. I mean, I pick up an awful lot of Boris's stuff, mostly just to have.
Yeah.
But I can still game with them all anyway if I want to.
Look,
so it's one of those things where
he reminds me of Billy from Predator.
I was just thinking that as well. I was just thinking the same thing. It does look very Predator-esque.
U.S. Army boots.
I think it's the necklace.
Is there any big chubby barbarians like me?
There are no big chubby barbarians. I know you're.
Can we have a look at the Sabertooth there,
They
Jerry?
miss a trick there.
Oh, we'll get there. We're not.
Oh!
Because there are several Sabertooths.
Wow, there's a whole Sabertooth
running
unit.
See, I love that. I love how they're all individually different. They'll stand out. They're gorgeous.
Because if you're playing something like Saga, for example, in the Age of Magic, and you're looking for some cavalry,
yes,
what else would barbarians be minded on? Some sort of massive
anything else that'd be minded on.
Saber-toothed tigers.
Mm-hmm.
And we
think of some options.
Hey, you know, nobody wants to be on a horse. Horses are dull.
There's going to be some options in 3D printing today. I could think of something to go on.
Better than a saber-toothed tiger, though. Because I mean, when one of those is coming at you, other lesser cavalry are going to get out of the way very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll break up a cavalry charge in a hurry.
I love the different poses. You can tell how fast they're going just by their paces alone. Beautiful.
Running and
Appreciate
jumping.
Appreciate a Sabertooth. How would you get hold of one of them?
Do you know what?
We have to have a wee look at...
it is a stunning barbarian collection because it is really as authentic barbarian as you can get. Loincloths and not much else. Nope. Really, that's your barbarian lot right there.
Muscles for days.
That's what you want. It's high,
Good,
high
big,
fantasy
big
in,
barbarian force.
what's the word? Oh, I'm trying to think of the name of the place Conan inhabits. Hyperborea.
Hyperborea.
Been so long, so very, very long. The barbarian couple there. Looking particularly nice.
Mm-hmm.
Just missing a 80s movie poster to put them on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then some others.
Very nice.
Oh.
I love the way the fur's done there.
Like a little bit of extra armor.
Is he holding on to the main part on the back there? Very cool.
Scruff of the
That's
neck.
nice.
Don't need saddles.
No, not at all.
We'll
It's
probably
just
have
nice
them
like
touch.
turn the
Anyway.
cat off because the mama cat would pick them up by there. So wouldn't that just make your cavalry mount fall over?
Just something to
that
get
is
a bit
the
of
off
a grip.
switch for a cat. You pick it up by the scruff of the neck.
It certainly is. I don't know if the same was applied to Sabertooth.
To a saber
There's
tooth.
only one way to find out. We need to go to Belfast Zoo, get in at
Not
night over the top of the Cave Hill, and then try some big cats by grabbing them by the scruff of the neck.
Oh,
Well,
this
like
is
his claws.
fabulous.
Yeah, that's actually part of his cloak. That's cool.
That's gorgeous.
You two can winter well.
I saw a thing I on the internet, Justin, right?
Uh-huh.
You will love this one. And what it
I bet
is a big beef shin, okay? But the bone's sticking out, and then there's a big block of meat in a big rectangle. And
Yeah.
it's called Thor's hammer. And what they do is they roast this or broil this, okay?
Oh,
And then they serve it to you, like it's gigantic, and then they serve it to you in a big bowl with roast potatoes and stuff like that. And you get 2 bear claws, stainless steel bear claws, that you can use to rip it apart to eat it.
I've seen people try to use those. They are the most pointless kitchen utensil ever invented.
I've got some for
I am
shredding.
really failing today. Even the bear claws he has shot down on me today. Ah,
It's not your day.
Sign of the times.
I'm just going to have to go back to the internet.
So we've got a bit of a Witcher, bit of Game of Thrones going on,
Game of Thrones.
bit of Witcher. I wonder if there's a lesson.
Who
Maybe.
knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what relation is. We'll never find out.
Can I see the werewolf, please?
You can.
Oh,
It's nice. Very Witcher werewolf.
It is, isn't it?
Mm.
There's a question. How do you prefer your werewolves? This more human-esque look or like the full-on big, hairy, anthropomorphized wolf?
That's mine. If I want a werewolf, I do want a big, scary wolf. That's how I
like
do one.
my werewolves being a little bit more fleshy, a little bit less hairy. So, I don't mind them having some hair. It's like as long as it's within reason. But the fleshiness I find makes a werewolf particularly scary, especially if it's like a shaved
Human
dog
feature, isn't it?
flesh,
Yeah.
where it's kind of grey and mangy kind of flesh. That I think that's very scary. The scariest werewolf I ever
brilliant.
saw was the werewolf from the American Werewolf in London.
Wasn't it like one of the big, heavily muscled, hairy ones in there?
Well, yeah, it was because it was the transition.
You're thinking of the transformation machine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's very
the transition
nice. Geralt.
absolutely terrified me. It was the scariest thing I think I'd ever seen. Brilliant looking back on it. I would have stopped the transition at one point. They went a lot further and made him almost wolf-like, like a big extended dire wolf. I would have stopped it.
I like Triss.
That's nice.
I like that Triss. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Not
the Witcher
Triss.
was really cool. I'm having an urge to toss a coin to my Witcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Valley of Plenty and whatnot. That Triss is gorgeous. Not Triss. Triss, not Triss. Oh, that's nice.
They do some beautiful work.
Got to do a yen. Yeah.
Someday I will go back to play the Witcher games and work out what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Someday.
They're amazing.
Just go and play Gwent. Don't bother with any of the
That's
backstory.
nice.
Just go play Gwent.
Serious issues with Gwen. I spent too much time on it. I got too obsessed. That's a really nice series. It'd be great if you do want to, as Jerry said, play your Witcher RPG incorrectly. They're
God.
fantastic for getting, but you do not necessarily have to play as a Witcher in that. You are not Geralt of Rivia.
Could you upgrade your Witcher board game?
You could. You could, even I've got loads of minis coming, but they're a nice alternative to have and certainly a nice heads up. Very cool. Bit of camo.
She from The Witcher?
Don't recognise her. She must be.
Leshen?
I don't. Possibly a Leshen.
See, she might not be because they don't
Recognise her.
just The Witcher, because that's Elder Scrolls thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that
Dragonborn.
looks. Yeah.
Could also work very well in with the other Barbarians.
Right over my
Some
head.
sort of
Would.
leader. It's one of these computer games that the kids play more.
I lost like 500 hours of my life to that game.
Or Skyrim.
When you go to Undead, or
I
Never
went
worry.
Undead, yeah.
Did they not have a roach?
No, horse is a horse.
A horse is a horse.
Because some of the undead will be in here anyway.
also when it's undead, it's going to be kind of White Walker kind of undead, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a gorgeous looking horse
Yeah,
in a creepy
Good
way.
like that.
That's beautifully. It just goes into the undead and not dead so seamlessly.
The real question is, how's it holding the bit in its mouth?
Good question, Jared.
Probably a couple of meals.
Have they just
It's
attached,
just in there.
just attached the chain directly to the bone?
Yes.
Fiddled it through a tendon here and there, you know.
It's all
They have
very
any of the
possible.
giants?
Go to the north with the needle.
there's
Oh, I
Northern-
love
Yes,
him.
There's a giant. Yeah.
What was his name? What was his name?
Oh,
Teddy
yes.
Westside.
I can't remember. Wasn't
Wow.
well. Wow, that's beautiful. It's huge.
Epically done. Nice work.
I love the snow.
I loved that series. I really loved that series. And the ending was all right for me too, before anybody mentions the ending.
Suddenly, you just
I
award
might
for
go
it.
back and rewatch that.
Well, you've got the new one coming out soon, haven't you?
Yeah.
The spin-off.
Yeah.
Soon.
Honestly,
This
the
is
spin-off I
brilliant.
wanted to see was Arya going off on her adventures.
That would have been great. They've really got the characterization down in these.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's lovely.
Perfect little needle.
That's really nice.
She's left-handed.
Mm.
Yep.
That should have been beaten out of her. Let left-handed people survive. Ah.
Tut, tut, tut.
not
I mean, I'm just going to sit here quietly in the corner saying nothing, drawing no attention.
Ah, you are a lefty, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Ah, that's a lovely answer.
Everybody's favorite character, I hear. Totally 100% on board with that. But yeah, if you want your barbarian slightly more winter ready,
Yeah.
there's a with the attack dogs.
Oh, is that supposed to be Ramsey?
It is.
It is. Oh, that's amazing, but petrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Blade from behind his back.
Honestly, really well played.
That's lovely, but again.
The dogs are superb.
Mm-hmm. Very, very much so. What's behind his back? Was that knife? Yeah.
Knife, yeah.
Yeah,
he's just
it's a knife.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Interesting little range of
There's
figures for your
Jon
tabletop.
Snow.
In the snow.
He doesn't know much.
He knows nothing.
There we have it, yeah.
Dark Future.
Yeah, under the online shop, collectible miniature,
Just a
Dark Future,
short amount of
some sci-fi.
Cyberpunk.
yeah.
Me liking some sci-fi.
They
stuff.
remind me of who are the ones? Wolfsbane, is it?
Yeah.
From Warzone.
Oh, those are quite cute.
That's going back a while.
See you tomorrow.
Coming back though.
It's a crazy, 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 crazy nights. Ding, 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 ding.
But yeah.
I'm getting the total Kiss vibe from that. Can I see the terrain just 2 seconds?
Yes,
in?
yeah.
I'd like to
Indeed.
see the Dark Age buildings, please.
Oh, lovely.
Need for teddy bear fur.
Very reasonably well priced. Are these, do they come in different sizes for scale? Or is it particularly for 28?
No, it's all 28 mil. All 28 mil. And that is teddy bear fur on them. It's not
Yeah,
good.
no, I know. I thought it was sculpted detail on the smaller image, and I was just like, wait, no, I'm wrong.
No.
I wonder
That
if that
is
comes in the
superb.
kit.
Love it.
Just really nice buildings.
Yeah.
How did they get the teddy bear fur to have that
It's bright, baby.
texture,
Layer.
Jerry?
We have a
Layers.
jerry can for that.
Have we got a jerry can for how to do that?
There is, yeah. Just whenever you're popping the PVA on, you can push up into it.
And it gives that layers.
Yeah.
Well, if you are a member of the Cult of Games, you too can enjoy the jerry cans, because if anyone can, Jerry can.
Darn
There.
tootin'.
I've done my little ad. There we
Like
go.
it. It's good. Good times. Shall we take a swish and come back and take a look at the news?
Absolutely.
Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news.
All right, and we're back with the news. And this time, I'm kicking things off with a bit of the Crusades. Because there's been a big update from Andy Hobday as to their upcoming Kickstarter, which has got a holding page, so you can jump over and take a butcher's at it. But the fourth Barons War will be taking them out of England's green and pleasant lands and off to Outremer across the sea. And they have been showing off a wealth of previews, so many that I haven't even included them all in this little article because there's just too many. But they range from individual figures. So we've got an imam here, both mounted on foot to go with Saladin's forces.
So is this third crusade? Second and third crusade?
Second and third, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. They're like the best ones.
They are very much the best
So
ones.
First Crusade, just for anybody's benefit, right? First Crusade was a roaring success for the Holy Roman Empire and the Christians. Second Crusade was a bit of a disaster, and Third Crusade was a draw, you might say. Richard the Lionheart actually made it to Jerusalem, and he could have taken it, but he couldn't hold it.
Couldn't hold it.
So he thought, bollocks to this, I'm going home.
Which makes
So
a
he
lot of
did.
sense.
He went home because Robin Hood to marry to the other wee fox made Marion.
That's true.
So
I need to definitely get more history lessons to put in you two. It would be perfect. It'd definitely sink in anyway.
It would be head melting.
Hey, hang on, free. Whenever Expo's on, you'll have both of them there, and we'll be sitting in the pub.
I can't wait. So good.
no, he definitely had to get home because Prince John, Prince John, PJ, unheard that. So Prince John was starting to get a bit uppity. His throne was a bit under threat. He'd had a really good battle with Saladin. Him and Saladin, enemies, but kind of enemies with a deep respect for one another. Do you know that kind of thing that going
Frenemies.
on? Yeah.
Enemies by enemy, that kind of thing.
So they were well into each other. But then he went home and he did a load of battling at home. He really was an amazing general. He really, truly was an amazing general. And the problem is that whenever he died, those that he left behind him were not. They just weren't so good. So
It's always the way. Always the way. But as you can see, there's a range of
that's just
Face there.
right there.
just needs the monk's robes and turban. But that's
Yes, if I'm my next
a
cosplay.
retinue.
Justin, if you
leader
could have
for
been a
the
crusader, right? If you could have been a crusader, which of the knightly orders would you have liked to have been in if you could have been one?
Probably the Knights Hospitalia. They have some interesting history, especially in and around Malta. They've got some forts and stuff down there, which are really interesting.
Yeah, they're the hoteliers, aren't they? They're the guys that end up giving massages and stuff like that there.
No.
hospitable dudes. You know, they were running the hospitals and stuff like that. So whenever myself and my other Knights Templars, got hurt in battle, we would then, go back to your tent and get a rub down.
I'm just going to say this now. You see, whenever you're having your pub history lessons, just have a little fact checker sitting on your phone just in case. Because
that's what Jerry's for.
Yeah, but I'm sniffing a little BS here.
And Jerry will tell you that everything I'm saying is historical fact, my man.
100% of something. Can't say what.
These are fantastic. It was, it was always on the cards for Barons War.
Yeah.
Someday it was going to be good. And this is that day.
They just needed to move out of slapping each other in England.
Yes. Nobody cares about that. That's still going on to this day. We want the Crusades. We want to see Cyprus, Malta, Acre.
Gorgeous buildings.
Oh, that is nice, isn't it?
This is one of the other things they're doing. They're
just the door open.
Well, I have no idea. I haven't seen it because this is just a test print. So they're doing STL files in conjunction with Lion Tower. So obviously Dan does a lot of great 3D sculpting.
Look at that!
But this is like a modular fortress that could be part of the Christian outposts, or could easily be set up as a
any of those Middle Eastern walled cities.
It'd be very Assassin's Creedy as well.
No issue with that being Jerusalem or Acre, heck, Bethlehem. Everybody knows that we've got to have the Battle of Bethlehem.
Very much so. Don't know whether or not they're going to be physical. I think they're just going to be STLs.
Prototype print of model.
But you won't know until the actual Kickstarter itself goes live. This is an interesting little one. So in the last Barons War, they had a level where you could have yourself sculpted as a miniature. Relatively expensive. You own the miniature, you own the rights. One of the guys who went in at that level went, you know what? You can use my sculpt for the first 24 hours as an exclusive. This is the only way you can get it because the miniature belongs to Nigel. And he's allowing Warhost to use it for the first 24 hours of this Kickstarter, which shows, I suppose, how the community viewed Barons War as well. He's stumped up the cash to get a one-off, and then went, you know what? If people want to get it, then I'll let you guys cast it for the first 24 hours only. So it's him as a monk.
My opportunity to have me sculpted.
Oh yeah,
as a big ass Knight Templar. Well, it's like a couple of Knight Templars kind of mushed together, and I could get a big ass horse because I'd need a really big one, like a Shire horse.
Need Shire.
So this is a chance for me to actually get into the Crusades my very self.
Oh, yes.
Having to risk your life, sure.
100%.
I wonder would they do me as Warren the Lionheart?
Well, you're chucking the money around.
Can you imagine me jumping off the boat into the sea at Acre?
I imagine
like a parting of the Red Sea again. It'd be very religious, It really would.
The rest could just walk on the land. So that's good. But yeah,
I love that idea.
It's on its way.
How expensive is it?
I was a couple, maybe 400 or so. I don't know. Assuming that this pledge level is in again, I can't see why they wouldn't.
That's ask permission of the entire family level money there, isn't it?
That is.
Yeah, you will. You'll have to consult. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're interested in taking a stab at the Crusades for Barons War or Saga, then those are going to be a fantastic range of Knights Hospitaller and some of Saladin's Iobid.
In all seriousness, though, I highly recommend it. It's one of the most interesting periods of history any gamer could get into. It is super, super interesting, and it's colorful in many ways. There are so many interesting methods of battle and how battle takes place. One of my particular favorites for you is where they use flags and banners and things like that there to try and regroup cavalry charges and things like that there, and to bring them all back. And each of the kind of knightly orders had their own standard, and then they would try to make their way back to the standard, regroup, and then go back in again. But it's just absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And some of the battles were enormous.
And some of the tactics, genius.
Tactics were fabulous. Like basically, picking places to battle where your enemy would be starving and dying of thirst before they'd even start.
Hatton, I think, was like that, where they cut them off from they cut the Europeans off from water, and then combined that with setting fire to dried grass to force smoke into their eyes and lungs, to really just exacerbate the fact that they were absolutely dying of thirst. They were now dying of thirst and smoke inhalation. So combo breaker, I think, is the phrase.
Brutal. Plus, you get all of the kind of the war machines and things like that. So your trebuchets, your siege towers, all of that stuff is all making an appearance there. It's a seriously cool era.
One to keep your eye out for, folks. Sticking with historical accuracy, Free.
We're going far along the Misty Mountains cold. Yeah, where the dungeons deep, our caverns old. So Ragnarok Villagers are back with Ragnarok 3 with some familiar faces inspired by Norse mythology combined with the wonders of Tolkien's brain. We've got Hella Dwarves and Hella Goblins, and they're keen to have a fight over on Kickstarter. So the campaign's been funded, so if you worry about the tensions of Kickstarter, there's no need. So as the main pledge, you're going to be provided with the hardy band of dwarven warriors under the names of, do you know them? Balin, Dwalin, Biffa, Bofa, Bomba, hold on, Feely, Keely, Oin, Gloin. I've got to do this, it's personal. Jory, Nori, there we got it. And of course, you've got Foreign Oaken Shield. But there's not as well as that. You've got not Gandalf, the Grey Wizard, and you've got not Bilbo, Faven Harlin to fill up the party as well. But if you need more dwarves, I can't believe we're talking about this. This is Lord of the Rings and dwarves together. Ben's not here.
Yeah, I sense a disturbance in the force.
It's just sitting there at the moment. It feels a bit of an itch. If you do want more dwarves, and there's more dwarves of dwarring, everybody that's going in is going to receive this guy. This is a special one. This is during the Dwarf Father, and it's just going to add that extra bit of invitation from the Elders of the Seven Fathers under the mountain. Really nice touch, this one. Really, really cool. If you do
sculpts
have enough heroes to adventure into the Dragon Keeps and troll slaying, there is a bunch of goblins too that you can get hold of on the campaign, and you can grab bags of goblins from 40 to 100 miniatures. So you can get a stack of different goblins. You've got night goblins, armor goblins, forest mega goblins. You can pitch in to get a variety mix bag, which personally, it would really work well for a Goblin Town fit if you were doing Goblin Town.
They are fab.
Oh, it's great.
I love those night goblins.
Mm-hmm. They are beautiful. As well as in the pledges, if you don't want to wait too long, because I know people on Kickstarter don't like waiting too long, a year or whatever it might be, there is a super speedy shipping option pledge on there as well. So with shipping included on it, you can get hold of these as little as 4 weeks from when the campaign ends. So that's next month. So we can get hold of this. I mean, I've waited for pre-orders longer than I have for that. So it's a great idea. But if you are in the regular running of pledges, you can expect for this to be arriving with you about October time. But if you do want it soon and want them now, next month is as quick as it'd be. But if you want after dwarves and goblins and everything you need, they have mentioned on their Kickstarter that they've just opened a website as well, which is great. So if you don't want to tap into your usual things that run part of the campaign, you're looking for something else inspired by Norse mythology, you can look over at the Draga and the Draga. I never say that word correctly. It's one of those words that you read and you never say out loud, like Hermione. I was calling her Hermy one for years.
Hermy one.
It's one of those words you don't say off the page. You've never said it out loud. So there's loads on their website as well if you've missed some previous stuff from them too. But it's a really cool set of stuff. This is what I imagined from Tolkien's brain to look like. The historically accurate, not so Hollywoodized glamour. This is taken from Norse poetry names. This is your dwarves as you expect dwarves to be from Tolkien.
But I've got to say, those night goblins.
You like night goblins?
Love those. I've always been a fan of the night goblins, but as I get older, the Games Workshop ones have always they become a little bit more and more cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
These ones look brutal,
menacing.
Don't they? They
exactly.
really look brutal.
They look like Jackson goblins, which for me is what ticks my box for goblins. I do find a lot of goblins nowadays do look, as you say, cartoony. No matter where you go in, they're all bright green or.
Well, yeah,
these are petrified.
They're meant to be that fallen elf, the corrupted rather than the cartoonish, and I think these do it very well. They're also a fairly good size, so they're slightly shorter than a human. For 28 mil, they're not teeny tiny, half-sized.
Yeah,
they're more sensibly scaled. And also, Colin has done a ton of work in the past with a lot of Viking ranges. So the Gripping Beast Viking range, his own range that Warlord have now.
Yeah,
and these all match in, as do the Draugr and Dvegar. Is it?
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
The previous ranges he's done. So if you're after them and you haven't seen the previous Kickstarters, then you can go across to. In fact, I'll just grab it there. It's probably the easiest way.
There you go.
Ragnarok Minis, RagnarokMiniatures.co.uk. So you can lay your hands on the previous versions where it has your evil dwarves. Also, he did a range of Saxon-esque dwarves for Conqueror miniatures as well that also scale. So there's multiple ranges that he's worked on in the past. Obviously, this is his current own personal range, but it means you can quite happily blend these things with miniatures from other companies and know that the scaling and the style is the same.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a bit of an undead Viking theme, something like Saga Age of Magic, for example, then there's a lot going on with Ragnarok. I really like I like the fact he's stuck with the historical feel for the fantasy. They don't suddenly look out of place, especially for the Lord of the Rings-ishness.
Not at all.
Bear in mind, Tolkien was just writing his own version of a fairy tale for England. He didn't have any good fairy tales or mythology of their own. It had also sort of been mushed, I think is the phrase, through constant invasion. So it makes sense that they inhabit that sort of feel and look. There's as much fantasy as they are old saga, and I don't mean Saga the game, I mean Sagas the sagas. So terrific stuff
in there somewhere, Jerry.
Yeah. It's all good. Next up, sticking with historical though.
If you are subscribed to the Grey for Now newsletter, you're going to be able to get some classic nighttime raids during World War II because they are providing free digital copies of the rulebook during the pre-order period. So this is completely free of digital, so you should definitely get yourself subscribed. If you're not subscribed, don't worry, you've still got time. All you need to do is add in your email address, press the subs button in Grey for Now, and that's it. Every subscriber that's going to get one is going to have the option to download this full rulebook completely digitally. There is 64 pages in this rulebook. It is not small. So you've got a skirmish set in within the dark hours of World War II without even holding a penny. You don't need to pay anything for it. It's just be on the newsletter. So the skirmish title is going to place players under the cover of darkness during World War II. So they're going to be traversing deeper in darkness as an elite force of heroes in hopes of infiltrating enemy lines after the sun has gone down. So you're going to be recruiting the likes of SAS, paratroopers, rangers, commandos, and SOE spies, and you're going to be facing a fight for survival, really, preparing for an attack, getting into an ambush, or just chance to severely defend. If you don't subscribe, the price of the PDF is up in their store for about £8. So you are saving yourself some money just by putting in your email address and subscribing. And who knows, in the future, you might be subbed to get in some more stuff here and there. At least they do say that they give a lot of freebies. But really nice fun that they're giving away a whole rule book, which is amazing.
Look, it's Peggy Carter.
Oh, it is Peggy. They are not the Howling Commandos.
Could be.
Although
You're
I would like to see a Howling Commando in a kilt. That would definitely have saved Captain America.
100%. So these are being done in conjunction with Wargames Atlantic. So these are plastics. So that's the Operation Torchlight set. And then for your Germans, you have the Guards of Facility 9.
I don't want to do a little bit of an LOLO thing with this. Oh, René is a fool. He has been captured by the Gestapo. We must go rescue him.
They are lovely minis.
Gorgeous stuff.
They're stonking.
Oh, that's
sinister looking, aren't they?
Well, look at that scientist. What's in the flask? That's what I want to know.
Oh,
could be anything. Could be anything. So yeah, I'm not sure how much of these are plastics and if there's any additional things in the box, like metals, because obviously Grafe and I have done a lot of work in the past for Test of Honor where they do metal miniatures, but I have seen some of these guards wandering around the place, including one with hands up surrendering on the Wargames Atlantic website. So there's at least some sprues in there that will be plastic, which is good because it's very easy to get your hands on World War II figures, but for doing something like this where you want to have patrols and guards and the sort of people you would see at a prison camp or a facility, not as easy to find those. Most people tend to be fighting in some fashion, but actually just having people standing to attention or standing guarding is really nice.
Yeah, this is your Colditz kind of stuff.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, the Great Escape.
What was Himmler's castle called? I don't remember. Himmler had
it sounded like a punchline.
Had a big castle, yeah, where he studied all the esoteric kind of stuff. Into his whole supernatural and the aliens, Justin.
Where the Thule live.
You go enjoy, Warren.
So
where the Thule live.
Where the Thule live is right, yeah.
It will be available for free for newsletter subscribers until the pre-order finishes. So once the game is available to buy, you'll have to pay for it. So if you're after a copy, you should probably see about grabbing it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, get stuck in.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
You will need the cards that come with the miniatures. So while it is the rulebook, so you'll be able to see how the game plays out. I don't think you'll be able to play without the actual cards and bits and pieces that come with the actual full release of the game. But it's nice to get in early and see whether or not it's your cup of tea, I suppose, is the way to look at it.
With you.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant
cool stuff. What's next?
Next up, we are going to have a look at some big, giant, smashy robots. Because
these aren't big, giant, smashy robots that you can't get in Germany, or are they by any chance?
They are the best kind of big, smashy robots.
Oh, beautiful.
Not get in Germany.
Oh, big love to our German viewers, guys.
One in particular. But yeah, Anthony's been tinkering away with Trader Galaxy and has actually he's revamped his website, and with the revamp, there's been a lot of news come out this month. So first off the bat is Broken Skies is available to order. It is a dogfighting game set within the Bot War universe. So these mask-esque looking flying cars up against the Atlanticans, more futuristic sci-fi ships from beneath the waves, are able to duke it out on a hex map in a dogfighting strategy game. They're also the same models that are used in Bot War itself, so there's no reason why you can't double dip if you're getting these and just add them into your Democracy and Atlantican forces. And I'm really nice to see another game that ties that universe together. He's been working on a few other things as well, including a 28mm game, which is like a small-scale skirmish, which I'll be very excited to see how that goes. So some of the smaller bots will become giant bots in that. There's also a new drone controller coming for...
Big in the Electro Tyrant.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's got a whole backstory, which you can read about in Galactic Transmissions number 6. But essentially, the bots are code. When the bot's body dies, the code can be downloaded into new bodies.
Nice.
And then they can be upgraded and they can have different code affecting them, or sometimes the code gets corrupted. This guy decided he wanted to be a tyrant level bot. He upgraded himself and decided that the way the world should work is if everybody bowed down under him and his massive drone army that he was just going to swarm everything with. Unfortunately, the other tyrants in charge of the deceivers took that badly, sent a bunch of people around to his base on Mars and kicked the toys out of him until he got back in line. But you too can have the Electro Tyrant being carried around on his drone palanquin.
They're great.
Which is always good, clean family fun. You can find out more about that in this issue of Galactic Transmissions. So every 2 months, they've been doing these Galactic Transmissions, which are a mix of stuff from Anthony and stuff from the community. And they've been nice to see because it covers all the games. It shows people what else people are up to, and they're generally been jam-packed. So in this one, he does mention about the new website launch, and with the launch of the website, there's also been some changes behind the scenes with how his figures are going to be produced. So up until now, he's been working in metal and resin, mostly. Metal prices are expensive these days. A lot of people will have noticed that. There've been a lot of companies having to jack the prices up. In Australia, it's gone up, I think, 200%.
No way.
It's been a ridiculous increase. So he's just looked at it and went, you know what, I can't afford to do it in metal anymore. So he's partnered up with somebody, and they're going to be producing stuff in plastic. So there are still resin bits and pieces kicking around at the moment. I think they're going to go away in the fullness of time. But it's the same type of plastic that Privateer Press use, that injection sort of semi-soft, so a bit more robust than the resins, but good level of detail and a lot cheaper than what it will be if he has to stick to the old
Is
metals.
there enough missiles on that, do you think?
No, there's not.
No?
No, Major Lee was
Yeah,
never
actually-
a major. That's his name.
I'm sure you can get some more in there somewhere.
Yeah.
If you
Is that not the truck that Lee Majors drove in the Fall
in the
Guy?
Fall Guy, yes, and people were going, "Is this such and such?" You going, "No, it's the Fall Guy." What are you talking about? So he does exclusives every now and again. And this month, if you order like 160 Australian dollars worth of kits, you'll get this delightful version of Major Lee and his converted Bronco for the Democracy. There was no way that wasn't being included, because my word, look at it, it's a thing of beauty.
It's great.
I really like the Democracy because the Democracy contain all sorts of madness, like kit and mask and the Pork Chop Express, but a flying version of it from Big Trouble in Little China. And I just love the whole retro range and madness that he's doing. If people are unaware of Boss War, which is a terrible thing, but if you are, you can download the entire Turbo Edition rulebook from his website now. So that the upgraded website, if you go to there and poke it with sticks, you will get the whole kit and caboodle there. And the Turbo Edition is the second edition, but with a bit more fluff behind it. So that's the full rules.
Wow.
Expanded.
Quick reference cards free.
Quick
Stack
references
cards
are all
free.
fantastic.
Turbo
Stack
edition
cards
free.
The only thing you need to
Wow.
pay for is your giant bots and smash face with them. So it's well worth having a look if you're into your 80s cartoons, whether it's transforming vehicles or massive stompy robots from other planets, galaxies, because it has such a massive retro flavor. But the game itself is really fun to play and it's very simple to pick up as well. So hopefully we're going to be playing some games on the channel in the not too distant for that as well.
I've been interested in it for a long time.
That's certainly certainly on my agenda anyway.
Mhm.
Now, before we move on,
Yes.
I actually have a little news for the team coming out from Australia as well, from our favourite Aussie down under. Recon 63 has set the Great Anzac Migration underway once again. Yes,
Shocking
Warren.
stuff.
Yes, Warren.
But
There are
Warren's
specific troops for each team member.
Are there any
and
gluten-free ones for Warren?
Well, there's one very special one for free. I have been told to keep an eye out for. So just thought I'd share.
You're gonna love this. This is my favorite part of the year. This is like Christmas for me, when the Anzac biscuits arrive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I will do my duty as always, making sure everybody gets their lovely bits.
Delightful.
Nice.
You
I
will
hear
be
we've
liking
got
though.
Deadzone news, Jerry.
Yes, we do indeed. So there are, in the not too distant future, going to be a galactic global campaign for Deadzone. So Deadzone 3rd edition launched a couple of months ago, and then last month Firefight, the big brother, launched. And they've decided to combo these with their first global campaign set in around Magnetar. So if people are Dreadball players, they'll know the big galactic tour circuit set on Magnetar. It's somewhere in the middle of the core worlds. It's a delightful place full of delightful people who like to live life to the max because they're in the center of the co-prosperity sphere and they've nothing to worry about. And then, unfortunately, it all went a bit Pete-tong because vermin came spilling out from the underground and are in the process of leveling everything. Thankfully, the enforcers were on hand to shoot down any ships attempting to leave from spaceports and then blast them into tiny bits of dust. So whoever's on planet now don't really have any choice but to try and survive. So it's going to be a 4-week campaign, I think. I'm going to say 4, maybe 5 week, a month long. Launches this Monday coming. And they've got a sort of a schedule release. So it's time locked in a way. Where zones will open over time, people will be able to put the results into various places to see how things play out. And with Firefight having launched, they decided it will culminate in Firefight games as well as a sort of a step up then from the small amount of figures that you're going to have on the tabletop in Deadzone. So I'm looking forward to this because I think they're going to coincide the Firefight rules going free for the end of the campaign. So if people are just getting in, they can play the first games using Deadzone, where you've got a very low model count, very small footprint. It's a 2 foot by 2 foot grid on the tabletop. And then you can get your stuff painted up, play for a few weeks, and then in the background be painting more stuff towards the larger Firefight games at the end. And even then you can sort of play those out with relatively small amounts of people, maybe 30 models, 40 models aside. So it's still very doable in a short time scale for the end of June, for the big kickoff of it all, for the culmination. I'm really hoping Magnetar doesn't get completely crippled because I've not played any games on the Magnetar circuit yet. But if you are interested, you can pick up the Deadzone rules for free from Mantic. It's a very free rule heavy episode. They say it's the sample rules. Now, when they say sample, what they mean is it's the complete rule set without the force book and without the backstory and lore. So everything you need apart from the D8s, you can get out of that free sample. As far as the force lists go, if you go to Easy Army, it actually has the force builders in there. So you don't need the force book. Obviously, down the line, if you enjoy it, you should probably pick up the books anyway. But you can get started in this campaign immediately with whatever you happen to have kicking around. So if you've got Space Marines, you could run them as enforcers. If you've got any sort of vaguely creepy looking things, you can run them as the Plague. If you've got any sort of slithery squid face things, you can run them as the Nameless. So, you know, people are sitting there with NIDs or with Warzone miniatures from 20 odd years ago, or just Stargate SG-1, whatever it happens to be, you can go ahead, find something that fits the bill, and run them on the tabletop for the Magnetar campaign. And who knows, maybe when it's all over at the end of June, the entire planet won't be a wasteland. Maybe they can get back to playing Dreadball.
Maybe.
I think they're all going to be nuked from orbit.
With all of this
Tabletop.
going out, we may want to actually go and track down Mantic at Expo if they're there, and see if we can wring a couple of secrets out of them.
Mhm.
Always a doable.
With a go.
Very doable.
I'll let Jerry do it because he's like big and mildly intimidating.
Well,
He's-
I'll be getting involved with that anyway because Paul's got vermin that I need to kick round the board and back.
Oh, yeah.
But there we have it. That's us all newsed up. Shall we take a quick break and come back and look at some 3D printing and Kickstarters? All right. So we're back and we're going to be taking a delve into some 3D printing. And this has been found by Free. What have you found?
You wouldn't be so surprised, in all fairness. I like keeping you on your toes and everything, but you wouldn't be too surprised. So I'm going to ask you a serious question. Have you ever wanted to ride into battle atop of a cavalry of corgis? Well, you actually can, by the way. You can, because you can 3D print it as big as you want.
But Peter will be on you like that.
Well, you
they
can
don't
3D
support much
print.
weight. Just saying. They
But you can
snap like you
3D
wouldn't
print them.
believe.
Well, you can even customise your warriors into hedgehog people
Oh, you mean
as well.
toys? All right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, toys. But
Ignore
as
whatever
I
just
said,
said there.
you can 3D print these as big as you want. I'd be interested in seeing it anyway. But there are basing, there is add-on, statter, and tons for printer. So I found Goon Master Games on the hunt for different things to add to my bases, right?
Mhm.
So it's really, really interesting. And where I've been painting up Moonstone, what a surprise, adding the odd frog, adding the odd log, adding the odd mushroom is something that I've gone to look for. It helps my whimsical best. Oh, yes, come on, my bush. So what has impressed me the most is their store. So their store has got 600 plus items in it. They've got a tribe. Right, go up, you're up in the tribe. So if you go up on the left where it's underlined tribe, there you go. There is a bunch of weird and wacky characters being delivered to you in box 1 by the tribe. So the store, they offer, as you can see at the top, some free painting tutorials for characters too, which show picture by picture of some of them more whimsical and quirky characters. But if you're not that keen on the cute, stabby and whimsical, there's, like Jerry's saying, there's plenty of unit basing files. There is enough to make any miniature character stand up. Plus, if you like a little less on the anthropomorphic side, you can find all your classic dungeon crawling heroes, like your classic Jason and the Argonaut skeletons, or gnomes, cultists, wizards, rogues, demonic knights, you name it. And it really has blown me away, Goon Master, because I found I've come back here for loads of different stuff.
Yeah. I can see the Moonstone influence quite heavy here.
Yes.
Yeah. I found myself back here over loads of different things, and it's just not just the bases, but the characters as well have been brilliant. But what I found, all of these are used as part of basing bits, things that you can add. There's no reason why you can't make them bigger, use them to scatter. There is so much on there.
Everything there.
I know. It's adorable. It's too much. But as I said, I started here with just basic material. So I love how characters had a clear reference in some of the pieces as well. So there's the skeleton. You've got skeletons down in the store, and you've got scatter pieces or basing pieces, which is just skeleton bones.
Those frogs are mighty.
I know.
I
Look
love
at the
them.
frogs. You haven't seen the mushroom people. There you go. Mushroom people for Warren.
Oh, there we go.
We'll start with the frogs. We'll get to the shrooms in a minute.
Oh, look at them.
It's like conquistador frogs.
Yeah.
Conquistador frogs.
Which is kind of, it's a
I
strange mix of the Spanish and the French.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I've kind of got Thumbelina stuck in my head now.
Portuguese?
Yes.
yeah, sorry, Portuguese and the French, yeah.
well, with you.
But
A little bit Italian then.
Love it.
Pre-supported as well. So you're not going to need any of your supports to go up.
Go down to them mushroom men of hell there. Look at that.
There should be a bigger, there you go.
Big collection of shrooms.
There you go, down there. So what I really like is the shrooms, the frogs, and the skeletons that are just underneath are all part of their main tribe. And they all go together and come with loads of different bits, different bases, scatter all together. they're just so awfully whimsical. And those skeletons are beautiful. They have the swamp coming out of them. The swamp coming out of them. But you can really pick up anything from. So, as you know, I came here solely for fantasy, but I found that I was finding a lot of sci-fi stuff as well, as you can see. So there really is a mix of genre here to dip into. It can be painted up in any possible way.
Some sort of terrible brain bite tech thing.
Yeah. Do you know what? Starship Troopers, the brain bug. I'd print that out.
Lashed onto the back of someone's neck.
Yeah.
I'd love the idea of them just sitting on somebody's head, but being massive, like ridiculously big.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they would latch on at the base of the neck and just be on you like a backpack.
Oh, yeah. It's just something that you have on your back when you're having a conversation. All of a sudden, just pass out. This thing just there you go. Right there, mountable corgis.
So that would be truly modern day Elizabethan cavalry then.
Yep.
Yeah.
You one step away from marginalia at that point. You put some conquistador frogs on the back of corgis and send them into battle.
Oh, yeah, they do. They came.
That's Jim Henson territory right there, isn't it? It's like
Sir Didymus.
Mm-hmm.
They come with not mushroom warriors, hedgehog warriors that come mounted on the back of those. So they might not be conquistadors. They might be
quite happy.
I do like them.
He's a fun guy.
Hey.
Probably just looking up like the chef has chosen me. I go to the better place.
Oh, I love these. You can see the individual mushrooms and the branches going through them. Yeah. So this, I really liked these. Mm-hmm. Pulling down. As I said, these are part of the tribe that's on at the moment. As
keep scrolling there, Jerry, just to get a general feel for.
There's your mushroom. There's
Savage
your
Knolls,
yes,
and then Hedgehog Bundle.
Do you want the Hedgehog Corgis? We've come so far, we may as well.
Hedgehog Corgis, absolutely. So
how could you not?
Oh my word!
So they
look mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're spiky already.
That is true.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I want the mushrooms, I want the frogs, and now I want the hedgehogs. And I'm definitely having that as well.
Yeah. Riding into battle on a corgi. Did you know? But you don't just have to stick with corgis. You can ride onto battle with a badger as well. Again,
on a badger?
I can feel really upset that Ben's not here, but I'm telling him.
Well,
Knolls are brilliant, aren't they?
I like the little bit at the bottom with the two daggers, just like, I'll have you.
You can hear their voices, can't you?
The fact
I always hear my miniatures' voices, don't you?
Sizes of gnolls as well. You've got something that could be like an ogre or troll size, and the larger monster as well.
That
means you could replace a whole range of greenskins with gnolls instead. There should be more gnolls.
Do like a really nice vignette with these and like a gnoll camp.
Although they have gone for the dog look, the hyena look.
Yeah.
I'm more firmly in the lizardy faced, dragony faced gnoll camp. But it's one of those things. It's one of those
hedgehogs are incredible. Keep going.
Oh, there's rhinos as well. There is a lot of different characters.
Up a wee bit. No, you're going just to Hedgelord's Release. That must be the whole hedgehog army.
So this must have been their tribe of the previous month equivalent. There you go. So you've got your scatter, your mounts. Loads there to dip into for 40 quid. And you can just print off as many as you want.
Oh, you could do some really cool war bands with this.
For sure.
Jerry, I like those lightning bolts.
Yeah, the lightning bolts are a bit different.
The rats are great. The bugs.
Slimies. Oh, my word.
Slimes, rats.
What happened to Master Splinter? Is he having a bad day?
Well, there are some turtles down there that do look a bit suspiciously like ninja turtles, yes. Which could definitely be painted up.
Bolts would be perfect for any of the Star Warsy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a very esoteric thing because there's flames as well. And while you see a lot of people doing the sort of the solid things that you would expect to see in scatter, like plants, like rocks, having smoke and clouds and lightning,
effects,
they are less prevalent, I suppose, or less thought about
The rope as well. Just adding bits, but this is exactly how I found it. Basic
Money for all
bits. And yeah, there really is everything that you can get hold of to add. And I found I come here quite a bit for inspiration as well to see what could look better on my base. It's your pet. See, this is what led me to it. I wanted a frog on top of a mushroom.
Of course you did.
Frog on top of a mushroom. Simple things, make me happy.
100%. We're with you.
This is just incredible. I'm loving
and
this.
Look how far we've gone down.
Yeah.
There's
There's so much to go. The
600.
interesting thing here with all of these bits and bobs is on Sunday's show.
Rhinos!
I know, Roman.
We'll
This
be
is
looking
this
at
is
some
King.
community stuff.
This is Prince
Yeah, we
John's
will.
guards from
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
It is.
Oh, oh,
There, Warren.
oh! I
Very
want the
wonderful.
rhinos now too. So rhinos, frogmen.
Hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs.
Look at those dudes.
Little fishman. Oh, the jellyfish at the top.
Best
Fabulous.
3D print site ever.
Got
Yeah, you can.
no Merlot.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love all this.
There's
There's fishmen and doggies as well.
fishmen, dog bud. Yeah, there is a ton. Once
Yeah.
you get past it, there you go. There's your weasels, your skelly
Weasels.
crows.
Otters.
Undead crows.
No, weasels.
That's just the little birdies. Oh,
And a giant skeleton cat.
Cat, of course.
For
You
your creepy skeleton birds to ride about on.
Well, that could be a
Powerful
saber tooth. You
goblin
could have the
necromancer.
undead and the dead army.
bunny men.
Badgers. Bunnies on badgers.
Oh, this is incredible.
Ben is going to be kicking himself for missing this one.
Yeah, bunny men on badgers.
I
Oh,
wonder
they're
how
very
they have
happy
burrows
looking
for those
badgers,
Yeah.
Yeah, the badgers are a lot happier than the
Yeah, the badgers are a lot more serious.
Don't know what's going on there.
The guy in the bottom right is really happy.
These are the British / European friendly badgers, the tea drinking badgers,
Yes.
and not those aggressive honey badgers.
Yes, which will basically rip your face off.
Be very
It's
different.
not the face they go for.
Oh, orangutan
Orangutan,
drummer.
yeah.
You just put him dead centre of everything, wouldn't you? He
Oh.
deserves a main character spot.
It's
this
interesting
guy.
It jumps around a lot in period and region. So we've got an
Yeah.
orangutan that's more sort of Buddhist monk type of thing
Yes.
going on there. And then you've got the Romanesque rhinos, and then you've got Landschneck ferrets.
Give me the
and,
fireman cub.
You know, there's a lot of
Look
weird
at the little
wackiness
monkey
going on.
men.
There's dumpling people.
Dumplings. The dragon's eating one of the dumpling people.
That's
Baby dragon.
That's unfortunate.
again, they knew the risks.
Oh.
You told them the risks, didn't listen to the risks.
No, he did
Uh-huh.
not.
Almost thought that monkey was flipping the bird for a second.
I thought exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
You know what? Like,
they're like Charlene type thing. Look at the little lamb.
you know,
These bases, the bases there are just, the floating rocks.
I could just I could see your dad. You're playing your dungeon crawlers with your kids. Buy yourself a 3D printer, and you don't have to go past that page.
Nope.
It's like from week to week, you could be introducing new characters like pumpkin men.
Hail the Great Pumpkin. With Charlie Brown when you need him.
And look, there's one there. If you scroll down a wee bit, see that flying skull.
Mhm.
I'd print that out. I'd print it out slightly oversized. I like to
Yep.
do my dungeon crawling in 15 mil, you see. But I'd print that out slightly oversized and have it as a giant flying skull
That's great.
chasing after my kid. Oh, they would shite themselves. I'd love it.
It's very metal.
It's the way to go. There is so much in here.
There is so
It
much.
just keeps going and going and going.
It does.
Is that right,
as I
Pizza
said.
Is that mole people now too?
There is indeed mole people. And you do
People.
have your classic dungeon crawling heroes in there
Oh,
as
dwarfs.
well. You got your dwarves, there's wizards.
Deer men. Is that a deer riding a bear?
It's
Yes,
a deer riding
yes.
a bear.
Too right it is.
Oh, look, Groot.
And there's your tree folk.
Oh.
Oh, they are fearsome looking deer men.
See, they are a lot
Dear
more
me.
angry than the badgers, aren't they?
It's because they haven't been given AT.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh,
There's a tremendous
wow.
amount of stuff in here.
It's incredible. It
Isle
really
lizards.
is.
The Isle lizards.
So My Mini Factory has got the lot, but they're also on Patreon as well.
Yeah, they're on
Although
Patreon as
I
well.
imagine Patreon will be exactly the same as the tribes
the
here on My
tribe.
Mini Factory.
But they are
The carnivorous
similar.
plants.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed
me, Seymour. Feed me now. Oh, man, I am having a blast. This is just so
Fennec
awesome.
foxes.
Yeah.
hmm
And orcs.
Giant sculpt. Yeah.
It's weird when you hit something traditional, like an orc,
Yeah.
and you're going, oh, it's an
Yeah.
orc.
Yeah, I know.
And it looks as if their carts are being pulled by rhinos.
You would if you could, wouldn't you? You would. Yeah.
But is this some
Absolutely.
of the older stuff now? I'm guessing that is a bit more.
But there you go. There's your Ninja
There's your
Turtles.
samurai turtles.
Samurai snapping
Wow.
turtles.
Yeah.
Absolutely
You've got your
terrifying.
bow staff, your sai, and some other guys.
Oh, I think we're coming up to a Cthulhu kind of a dude
Oh,
here now.
best type.
There's your
Oh.
ancient ones and the little ancient ones.
More brain bugs.
More brain bugs.
Floating skulls. Or
Mhm.
nulls.
Old pups.
Absolutely.
Oh,
loads.
man.
Better.
See what I mean? Every
Oh.
genre has gone through. Oh, there's your sci-fi.
That just
Wowee.
screams Warcraft right there.
That
Yeah.
it does.
Stomp, stomp, stomp.
Welcome to Numragan.
Yeah, just leave them to be irradiated in Numragan. So, good master. That's a
Yes.
heck,
That's an
Hell of a library.
amazing collection right
a
there.
heck of a
Mhm.
collection. Yeah,
Yeah.
well worth checking out. They're also spread across Instagram, which is
Instagram and
something
Facebook.
that has pictures on it. I believe the kids tell me
What the cool kids are using, Jerry.
it's best not to worry about that. Yeah, that is an amazing 3D print.
Well played, Free.
Yeah.
That's a winner and a half there.
We should allow
Nice
you to
one.
pick the next one next week. Look how generous
Oh, I
you are.
have. I did send Jerry a particular way towards some confusing looking Pokemon that I'm sure Justin saw as well. So
I did not see this. I saw
Oh.
nothing. I am
Oh, you have to
innocent. I
wait.
can't prove that I did it. Nobody saw me do it.
Did you win one of our prizes? Find out on our prize claim center over at OnTableTop.com. Here we list all our previous prizes and those who have won. If you see your username, fill out the form to claim your prize. All prizes must be claimed within 30 days.
What happened Kickstarter this week, Kickstarter-wise? Have we got a couple?
So we've got a
We
couple.
do.
We've got a very, very quick one. Very quick
Mhm.
one. In that it's about to end, but I didn't want it to disappear without
Mm-mm.
people seeing it. So Zenit, who have done a fantastic amount of stuff over the years in a variety of ways, mostly Oriental, but then they also throw in some fantasy and European stuff. This
Yeah.
time round, they've got a Old Empire Kickstarter. Now, there's only 3 days left on this, but if you're a fan of your Old Hammer, Ninth Age, or Kings of War, then you can get yourself a very Germanic-looking late medieval European force that fills all the roles that you want, whether it's heroes, big blocks of infantry, or massive demigriff knights kicking around. They have put together a variety of ways you can grab them. So you can pick up individual heroes and figures, small units, larger units, or even full armies. And it's really nice. I know some of this still can be got via the medium of things like GW if it's still available as free cities, I want to say, in a high-pitched questioning voice. But I like the fact that there's a coherent company doing all of it in one sort of file swoop. So it doesn't matter whether you want to have your stock infantry, your ranged weapons, your archers and crossbow and fire lock weapons, but you've also got your flagellants and your halberdiers and heavy cav. And it has that nice core feel running throughout it without anybody looking like they've got a mouthful of golf balls, which I still can't get past. The last faces sculpted by GW were not up to snuff. But if you're after an Empire army for your Old Hammer, this is probably a great way to go. There is a interesting thing they've done, which I'm forever grateful for if I get past the actual armies themselves, because they've put in a scale comparison,
Oh, yes.
which is
Oh, that's great.
always handy. because I know Zenit do slightly larger than some other companies, so they're more sort of 32s than 28s, but they're more realistically proportioned as well.
Yeah.
So there's some lovely stuff going on there. They've already funded, and they've unlocked the War Priest, so we have the Witch Hunters up next, and it's just a really nice force that they've put together for the tabletop. If people are interested, like I say, you don't have long, because we were all Star Warsy last week. I didn't get near this, so you've only got 3 days, but it won't be long before they.
It's an elegant bundle, an elegant range. This one, isn't it? So,
it's very nice, magical, fantastical,
beautiful.
And, ticks all my boxes for the old school.
Happy days. 3 days to go, guys. Get
3 days left.
Stuck in.
And the other Kickstarter I've picked out this week, I was going to pick out Blade Runner, but seeing as they're like over £1 million already, I thought they didn't really help. So instead, going to have a look at Dave Taylor's new Art of collection. So this is volumes 4, 5, and 6. And as you can see, there are, again, 3 incredibly talented artists. So Chris Scher, Tommy Soul, and I'm trying to remember the last one. That's why I couldn't remember the last one, because I can't pronounce it. Sini. So each of the books acts as both a painting guide to their own style of painting, and they have 3 sort of very distinctive styles. But also, you can look at it as a inspirational source as well.
This is a
sort of
beautiful
coffee table
collection that's coming together now.
Yeah,
this is your real kind of like coffee table kind of book.
Exactly. So even if
you can also get the digital versions.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
If that's your thing.
It's a good option.
Yeah, I really wouldn't. Something like this deserves to be a collection in the physical world, and
See, I think it'd be great to have on digital as well, as because if you're using for inspiration and want to zoom in, all you need to do on your tablet is get a bit closer as well. Do they offer them both together in the pledges?
Yeah, you can pledge for any sort of combination they're in, whether it's physical, digital, single books, up to the full kit and caboodle. Obviously, the stretch goals, they're starting to hit now. The first one's a sort of quality of life and upgrades to the page. The weight of the pages and that sort of thing.
I would have these on my bookshelf, not down here in the basement. This would be upstairs, right? And I would have one strategically placed on a coffee table, right? I'd sell my kids. I'd get them out of the house.
Are you trying to sell your house, Warren, strategic replacement?
And then basically... I would then open the door and shout out to the world that I'm open for visitors again. I'm happy to meet people.
It's time. Yeah.
And then as people come in, I'd say, would you like a cup of coffee? And gesture towards the coffee table. And I'd say, oh yeah, feel free to flick through the book. That is the world in which I inhabit.
It's a way to go.
I'm just waiting for you to pull on the Christian Bale plastic suit, come up behind with the axe at this point.
No.
Ever listen to the silky smooth sounds of Iron Maiden?
Yes.
But interesting thing for me, apart from the fact that Dave's gone out there and got these various artists to fill the books, is the parts that they do. It's not cut and paste, so you don't get the same content from each artist.
Yes.
In that, if you look, Chris's volume contains things about storytelling, dioramas, and when you're painting miniature, doing that storytelling, but also how to work on composition and working and reworking. Sort of, don't be afraid to go back and adjust things if it doesn't seem like it's working out for you. Whereas Tommy's has got a different set of sort of
discovery, a different narrative.
Yeah. So it's nice that Dave hasn't just gone, here's a
structure and I'll stick to it.
And fire your pictures in and I'll put it all together. So instead you've got this sort of more personalized volume from each of them, where they're talking about the things that sort of affect them and how they bring their miniatures to completion and how they go about setting the actual core concepts behind their painting and actually getting the models finished and to the exacting standards that they aim for as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a terrific set. I haven't seen that whether or not the late pledges for the previous set, whether they can be bundled in as well. I think it may just be these ones, unless they pop in as add-ons later on.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in increasing your understanding of painting and taking your paint to the next level, then things like these are invaluable resources to have, even if you're not using them all the time. Just being able to sit down and read and have a flick through and go, well, I'm not going to copy how this model has been painted from start to finish, but I'll use the inspiration of that in one of my own painting, or maybe the way a project is approached by one of the artists will speak to you and how to push yourself further then and explore other avenues within painting. So we've all got one or two miniatures that aren't finished yet. I think I've got 3. So being able to pick up a book and just go, well, maybe next time I'll explore non-metallics, or next time I'll explore a different style of palette or concept of how to actually go about it. So the theories that artists use can be as fascinating as their execution. And so, yeah, definitely one to have a look at. Already funded, as all of Dave's art books are. Oh, I've got that miniature. Anyway, I digress. Well funded, and 20 days left.
20 days left. We'll see if we can get a chat with Dave on the show, maybe.
Yeah. We'll see if we can track him down.
Hunt that man down. Do we talk to him about this?
Force him in that corner and put him in front of a camera. It's always the way to do it. But that's us for another week. We've filled our boots, and now it's time for you to go off and fill yours. We will return for the XLBS for our cultists over on tabletop.com on Sunday morning. If you want to go along and join us there, you are more than welcome. And if you're not already a cultist, you can sign up for a 30-day free trial. Wow.
Do it. Come and join us in the cult of games.
Do it now. Otherwise, we shall return next Friday for more of the same. So until then, have a great week of gaming. And don't forget, we love you.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.